virtual edition conversation, Mitchell Portleach podcast. And I'm joined by a brother, a friend, a man that's just surprises me all the time, Mr. Luke Michael Howard, the Hypnotist. How's it going, my man?
It's going great. Rory, how are you?
Listen, brother, I wanted to do this in studio, but life is life. But we're going to catch back up in studio again, with our mutual friend, Darrell, and
Yes.
all that good stuff. But how you been, man? I hear you're under the weather.
I'm doing good. I have this little cold going around, so I've had my espresso to wake me up. It's finished. And I've got my lemon and honey here to make sure my throat is nice and lovely sounding for you and the listeners. Very excited to be here on the Mitchell Unleashed podcast.
No. It's a Mitchell
No.
Report Unleashed podcast. You know what you're
There you-
doing, eh?
There you go. And it was Rory or Corey? No, yeah.
Oh, Lord. Listen, I'm going to have to give you the Roman in a second here, yeah?
No, Superman
Tribal
punch on the
combat.
street.
Tribal combat.
Right.
But why we're here is we've connected over the phone, and now we're doing the whole wrestling thing that we're doing once a month with Darrell, a mutual friend, and things like that. But I really want to get into just your story. How did this whole thing start for you? Just being in England, coming over to Canada. Just give us the logistics of how that happened.
Right, so back in 2008, if we get on our DeLorean time machine and we go all the way back, I'm in London, England, my origin, and I meet this girl, and we're dating for about 9 months. She's like, oh, I'm going back home. I'm like, where's home? She's like, Canada. I'm like, oh, all right, where in Canada? She's like, the capital. Everyone outside of Canada thinks the capital is Toronto. So I'm like, oh, Toronto? She's like, that's not the capital. Next thing we think, oh, it must be Montreal. Oh, Montreal. This is not the capital. The only other place we know outside of Canada is Vancouver. Vancouver. She's like, no, where are you getting your geography from? She's like, none of them are the capital. I'm from Ottawa. Never heard of such a place. So I was about to reach 30. And I'm like, you know what? It's time to roll the dice. No friends, no family, no job in Ottawa. And for love and for rolling the dice, I gave away 90% of my possessions. And I was a hoarder. Don't get that twisted. Not like those horrible TV shows. But I accumulated a lot of stuff. And I couldn't sell it. It was too quick. So I threw most of it away in some dumpster near where I lived in England. So whoever was walking past that day, they had a hit. So it came over to Ottawa. What do they say? Ottawa is the city that fun forgot. So I was there, bloody boring place. And after a while, we broke up. And it was bloody miserable. Because I'd taken no time to build up friendships. I'd taken no time to just explore the place for myself. So I was on my own. So I said to myself, all right, this was very real for me at the time, 13 years ago. I could myself, because I felt really bad, right? I felt really, really bad. I could do something worse. Like, what's worse than yourself? I could go back home to London, England, and feel like a huge failure. I can't do that. And I'd already tried to kill myself when I was a kid, when I was 16. It didn't work. So those two options were off the table. I'm like, what's the other choice? Get all this pain, this loneliness, this fear, this anxiety, this hurt, this sadness, and use it to finally build myself, a thing that I'd been learning for many years, hypnosis, to finally run with it and to build myself as the hypnotist, really, really help people and to build my life the way that I wanted to, the way I should have done 5 years before. So I stayed in Ottawa for a while, built up the #1 hypnosis practice, if you go by Google standards, in Ottawa. And then I'm like, why am I in Ottawa? I'm not with this girl anymore. It's really bloody boring here. So I end up moving to Toronto, because Toronto is modelled on New York, which I love, which is modelled on London, which is where I'm from. So about 10 years ago, I moved over to Toronto. And then I had my clinic in Ottawa that I visit a couple of times a month, clinic in Toronto, and I'd have a clinic in Las Vegas that I would go about once a month, once every couple of months, and do a whole bunch of sessions with people and or do shows. And this was before Zoom or Google or Riverside. cheap plug, was a big thing. That's right, was a big thing with people. So nothing really was online. And then subsequently, about a year before COVID, I was ahead of the curve, trendsetter. See, I realised about 75% of my clients for therapy were coming from America, were coming from Japan, were coming from Europe, and it was a bit expensive for them to fly in to do a couple of sessions with me. So we started to do everything over Skype back in the day. Then I realized, because I also thought, oh, to do this hypnosis stuff, I have to be in the same room as someone because it's a physical thing. It's not. I have to, but there's more value being in the same room. And I'm like, as long as someone can see and hear me, and to the best of their ability, they can switch off their distractions. It doesn't matter if we're 5 feet apart from one another or 5,000 feet apart from one another with a thing called the Atlantic Ocean between us. As long as they want to be there, meaning they want to work through their problem, they can follow simple instructions, meaning if I say close their eyes, they do in fact close their eyes. You'd be surprised. Some people don't, and I have to do that, like the Three Stooges, and they close their eyes really quick. I noticed that actually this is a weird thing. Doing change work on Zoom, on video, is actually more successful for me than doing it in person. And I've been doing it. I've been doing it 26 years in total. A little bit in England and pretty much full time for the last 16 or so years in Canada. I'm like, why is it better over Zoom or video than it is in person? Because in person, the secret sauce, and a lot of my clients mistakenly think that as well before I tell them. When clients would come to my physical office, if they wanted to quit smoking, they weren't going to smoke in front of me. If they were using heroin, they weren't going to shoot up in front of me. If they had chronic panic attacks, they probably weren't going to have a panic attack and collapse in front of me. And thankfully, if they were a chronic masturbator, they weren't going to do this in front of me. But when they're at home, when they're in the comfort of their creature comforts, their alcoholism comes up, their overeating comes up, their worry, their fear, their concern for next week, next month, next year, their anxiety will come up. All of their problems, pretty much, almost all of the time, are alive in their environment called their home. But when they come to my office in the day, back in the day, kind of weird thing was they almost taking a vacation from their problem. So by them being in their problem, it lit up the neurology in their brain, which means I didn't have to take 30 or 40 minutes lovingly prodding and poking them to bring up all that shit, technical word, in the neurology. They were in it because they were in their home of when their girlfriend left them and they're alone, or when they would think about tomorrow and have panic attacks, or they'd look and see the fridge over there and would want to feed their emotions, or they saw the cigarettes over there. They were alive. So it was a lot easier to get into that part of the brain. And my belief is how I work is a bit like a Navy SEAL, like Jesse the Body Ventura. You can blow the building up from being 100 feet away with a bazooka. It's possible. It's expensive and there's probably a lot of collateral damage. Or we can swim, we can go into the building itself, be inside of the problem, the neurology, their home, their brain, and put a bunch of Semtex and explosives at the bottom to explode, to implode that problem once and for all. Because it's a lot easier collapsing a problem when you're inside it than if you're away from it. So that's
You're good. You know what I love about you is that even when we had the first phone call conversation, I didn't even meet you in person. I saw pictures on Instagram, things like that. It's just you're so relatable. You're so real. You're humble. Come from humble beginnings, you know what I mean? Things like that. I feel like what I want to get into here is you talk about the UK being in over there, coming over to Canada. Was that a culture shock for you? Was it a tremendous culture shock, or did you just fit in with your personality?
No, yeah, it wasn't. I'll tell you why. I grew up on like, people will hear me in Canada and they will obviously hear my accent. Like, you're not from around here. But if people that knew me in the past hear me speak now, and I came over as a 30-year-old man. So if you come over after about the age of 10 or 11 to a foreign country, you don't actually get the accent. You might pick up certain words, but I don't suddenly start speaking American or Canadian like this. That was my southern accent. I know it was terrible, but you know, Americans, Canadians. No, I'm kidding. I know you're very different. Love you all. But no, it wasn't. I tell you why. Because I grew up as a lonely kid that had no friends in the world. But I grew up as on a diet of watching professional wrestling, watching American movies, watching American TV shows from the 18, from Magnum PI, from Knight Rider. These are my favorite TV shows. So I grew up on that diet, not watching really British shows, British movies, watching soccer or football as the rest of the world calls it. I grew up on an American or a North American culture, the way of speaking. So no, it was like, this is where I was supposed to be. I thought I'd end up in America, but I ended up in Canada, which is a consolation prize. No, I'm just kidding. I love Canada. This is why I did always want to live in America, but that healthcare is not a good idea, it seems. And it seems like you could be a tough guy, but if someone pulls a gun out on you, doesn't matter how tough you are, it's done. So, you know, Canada is a lot safer and a lot nicer. But I love America. But no, it wasn't a culture clash. I was born for like North America.
I love that. I love that. Speak to just like when you got into the whole hypnosis thing. Like, was that like a shock for you? Were you nervous? Because there's a lot that I've seen you do. We're gonna get into it. And I'm like, there's got to be a lot of just information he has to take in, but then also has to make sure he doesn't make any mistakes. To be like, some people can look at you and go, "Oh, gotcha, gotcha, Luke, gotcha. I knew you were a fake. I knew you were a fraud." You know what I mean?
So whenever I do a show, because I make the joke before 7 p.m., I'm a therapist or I'm a change worker, meaning I'm working like this but therapeutically. Someone wants to get over doing some form of drug, some kind of habit, some kind of horrible behavior that they desperately want to get rid of, but it's alive in their neurology and they don't know what to do. Perhaps they've tried counseling, psychotherapy, talk therapy, IMDR, looking at the finger, moving the eyes, and it works for some people. Works for about 10% of people statistically, but then there's 90% of people that respectfully, and I would never use language like this, being an Englishman, I still fucked up. And they're like, that stuff didn't work for me. And I know, because it didn't work for me. When I was a kid and I had a lot of issues, I went through the gamut of therapies for 10 years. And it was lovely to have someone listen to me 50 minutes a week, you know, so I could just cut a promo. For 10 years, I had child therapy because like, I don't know if he's got ADD. I don't know if he's got bad behavior. Don't know if he's depressed. So I had therapy. Didn't change me, didn't help me. In that time, I tried to kill myself twice. And I was just stuck. And it wasn't until I found hypnosis that it changed my life. So when I was 16, it's like the second attempt that I tried to kill myself. First time, if I was honest, was basically to let the world know I'm fucking in pain. I'm suffering. Can someone help me? Because I don't have the resources. Second time, I actually generally wanted to die. But when I didn't die after the second time when I was 16, I'm like, all right, this is the universe's way of telling me that I better start bloody living. But this therapy thing ain't working. Got a horrible relationship with my parents. Can't make eye contact with anyone. Ain't got no friends. Ain't got a girlfriend. I'm agoraphobic. Can't leave my bloody bedroom. I can't speak. I'm obese. I got asthma. The only things I didn't have, thankfully, is I weren't abused and I wasn't addicted to any illicit substances, other than maybe food to a degree. But everything else, I had anxiety, Rory, before everyone had anxiety. I had anxiety before it was cool. I'm walking around in 1993 thinking, I don't know if I'm depressed, but my heart is just beating really hard and I'm sweating and I can't make eye contact when I order my food here. Oh, what's going on? It was, you know, what we now label as anxiety, but I was doing it back then. So I was really stuck. I didn't know what to do. And we had a TV show on primetime TV in England in the 90s, and it was called The Hypnotic World of Paul McKenna. So it was on primetime TV every Monday at 8 p.m. on ITV, which is like our version of NBC, if you will. So I'm a kid. This is before the internet. If it's on TV as a kid, it must be real. This is what I'm going by, right? So this guy was doing a 1 hour or a 30-minute show, and it was a hypnosis show, but typically like you would see on stage, like he's making this one do the moonwalk like Michael Jackson, he's making this one hit the high notes like Madonna, all right? Like comedy. But I'm like, it's on TV. So if he's helping all these people do silly things like this, maybe hypnosis could work in helping me heal these things that, quite frankly, nothing else had helped me. So we had an ad in the back of a newspaper called the News of the World, and it was £10, $20, and you had to cut the thing out, send a check, and it would take 2 weeks to get there, and then it would send you an audio cassette, not a CD, not even an MP3. We're talking 94, 95. And
we appreciate you here at the Mitchell Port Unleashed podcast checking out this particular episode. 98.5% of you do not ever press the subscribe button, let alone the like button. It helps us grow this channel. So if you do not mind, press the subscribe button, press the like button, and I appreciate you. Let's get back to the conversation.
Audio cassette. So I wait for like 30 days eagerly to get this audio cassette, which was not customized for me. It was a one-size-fits-all, supreme self-confidence. Because like, if I had confidence, this would heal most of my problems. So finally, this audio, I had to get my sister to write the check. I gave her the money because I was too young. Waited for this audio cassette. Comes through the mail 28 days later, a bit early, 4 weeks. I open it up. Side 1 is 22 minutes, and it's all the theory on hypnosis. Side 2, 22 minutes also, is the actual hypnotic induction. So I listened to it religiously for 28 days, because what else was I going to do? Weren't even leaving my room. I just had wrestling and American TV, right? And that's stupid, generic, one-size-fits-all audio tape made more impact, made more of a change in my life than up to that point, probably 7 or 8 years of child therapy, if you will. So when I learned it, everything started to turn around. I got a girlfriend, I could make eye contact, I could make friends, I could leave the house, I could get a job. Seriously, all this stuff happened, not overnight, but within the next year or so, right? And I had this aha moment, and it was, if this, and I knew, if it was a generic audio, it wasn't like for Luke, I'm like, if this stupid generic audio, generic, one size fits all, could make such an impact where everything else had failed me up until that point, what would happen if I learnt this shit for real? So then I went into about $100,000 of debt. I traveled around the world. I learned from people far smarter than me on how to get elegant change with hypnosis, neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, and other forms of rapid change work. And I just became a sponge for this stuff to learn, because I'm like, apparently there's statistics out there, but for talk therapy, counseling, psychotherapy would go all into this, it takes about 600 sessions to get movement, to get any form of change. Not a complete transformation, just to get even a little bit better. Now, there are abnormalities to that for sure, but for most people, 600 bloody sessions. The stuff that I was learning, hypnosis, NLP, it was 6 sessions. 6 sessions to make miraculous change. Because oftentimes talk therapy, it's lovely to run your mouth off. And as we all know, I like to run my mouth off. It didn't change anything because it was all conscious. It was all verbal masturbation. Hypnosis and NLP was getting into that deep structure of the brain and really changing things at a deep level. Then I got into a point where, it takes 6 sessions to change, to get someone to stop smoking, stop drugging, stop overeating, stop anxietying themselves. Like, it's too bloody long. ADD started to play up. Can we do it in 3? Did it in 3. Then I got bored. Could we do it in 2? Did it in 2. Could we do it in 1? And by the way, I'm not making a claim that you come to see me about any issue and in 1 hour you're fixed. First of all, I don't think people are broken. I just think they're running shitty programs unconsciously in their head that cause them to...
I love that you said that. Say that again, please. Run that back.
I don't believe anyone's broken. I just think they've got 40 shitty rogue programs or malware that's running in their head, running in their body semantically, which causes them to do stupid shit. Yeah, but we all do it. I do it as well. Overeat, overdrink, loops of negative thinking, procrastination, addiction to social media, whatever it is. So when people are, I've tried everything, I'm fucked up. I'm like, no, you're a human being. There ain't nothing wrong with you. You've just been doing stupid shit. Do you want to stop doing that stupid shit now? Right, yeah. Hey, let's do... Look, do I need to tell you where the bodies are buried? Do you need to take me back to when I was 5 and my mum and dad? I'm like, with love, with respect. I don't give a fuck about your mum, your dad, or what happened to you in 5. Your problem's alive today, so you're ready to deal with it today. Like, I don't need to go and revisit it. I'm like, no. People often think hypnosis is about revisiting those horrible traumas, and they're shit scared. I don't want to go back to when my dad abused me, or my mum did this, or my uncle did that, or was beat up at school. I'm like, no, we can heal all that stuff, but you don't need to consciously go back there and relive it. It's a weird story, Corey. I have this once a month. A client, a potential client messages me. Here's the message. See how many red flags you can count here. Hey, Luke, saw your stuff online. I think I was sexually abused as a kid. I'm now 50. I don't know if I was. Could you regress me to when I was 5 so I can find out if I was sexually abused or not?
So what he did is, because listening to you, and this is where before I answer this, what makes me good at this space is having that thing called intentional listening, right? But the other part of it is that can intimidate a lot of people. So everything you're saying, I can resonate with, right? But what folks need to realize is that there's probably about 60 to 70% of people that live with a confirmation bias. They come in with their own preconceived notions and confirmation biases, which is the same thing. There's different meanings. And what they'll do is they like to regurgitate information without not thinking. So the brain's going faster than the mouth, or the mouth is going faster than the brain. And then what they're doing is, when he says, I've went through this, can you regress this, and doing all that, it's like, buddy, no. We got to peel all these layers back. Let's meet first, then we can walk through the step-by-step process. When we played Tetris, I'm pretty sure you played Tetris or you played Snake on the Nokia phones. You started at level 1, but I think a lot of folks think when they go into things, they got to be at level 25. No, you got to go through 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 before you get to 25. You can't just go 25, 100, 3,000. You got to figure it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So as we're continuing the conversation, before I want to get this out here, you know what I realize what you do? And I never said this to you, is that you make folks feel, 1, at home, and 2, you talk to them relatable as a friend, right? It's like a barbershop conversation, or we're having a coffee. We're sitting here, we're vibing with each other. It's none of this, all performative actions where you have to put on this presentation. You're being your real self. So I think a lot of folks can relate with that. You know what I mean?
Do you know how I know I've got someone? And I mean got someone by the best possible way. Because every time I work with someone, before we work together, we have a 1-hour free screening call. They fill out a questionnaire, and the call is just to see if they're ready to change and where they're at, right? And how I know I've got someone in the best possible terms is, as soon as I'm talking, I'm swearing. I put swear words in there, and I do it deliberately for a very intentional reason. Because people, they think they're meeting the doctor, the counselor, psychotherapy, and they're all got their suit and tie on. They're all very serious. They're speaking in logical terms, because this is how they used to be treated. As soon as I swear, a part of their brain goes, they're unconscious, that builds trust. It's like, fuck it, I can swear too, because he can swear. Yeah, I think my ex-boyfriend fucking cheated on me, the bastard. At that point, I know I've got them, because unconsciously, we're now in rapport. I don't mean the kind of rapport that we're taught that, if you want someone to know, like, and trust you, sit like them. Breathe like them. This is all artificial bullshit. I mean, this guy's speaking to me in a real way. We also know, if someone has brain damage, all right, this is why Tourette's, not that Tourette's is brain damage, but have you ever wondered, when people are in Tourette's, they can swear perfectly. They never stutter on the swear word or the racism. It just comes out perfectly, because it's the part of the brain that's most reptilian, most primal. So when people hear swearing in a way, not in an aggressive way like that, but they hear it, it goes to the this is real. I can trust this person. I don't have to use these clinical terms like depression or anxiety. I can just get real and be like, I feel like shit today, and I'm having a thought of having a panic attack when I walk down the street and if I make eye contact with people, rather than, oh, I've got clinical anxiety and it's social anxiety, and it's because the pre-amygdala. No. What's really going on for you? When I walk down the street, I can't make eye contact with pretty women. Right, let's work with. Forget about the bloody label. The label was made up, by the way. Label's not real. Doesn't mean they don't feel it, but someone made up this label. And when people get attached to a label, it's so much harder to break the trance of anxiety, the trance of chronic pain, the trance of addiction, because they've accepted a label and it's been enforced by someone in higher authority, usually a doctor in a white jacket. Oh, yes, you will now have clinical depression. Oh, I knew I had something wrong. I guess I have this forever now. Versus, no, you're depressing yourself. You're anxietying yourself. Not suggesting you're sitting around saying, I want to be anxious at 12:34 on a Monday morning. But unconsciously, it's in there and you become attached to the label. Let's get rid of the label. Talk about what's going on in your body.
What would you say is the biggest misconception with what you do? Because I'm pretty sure you just spoke to, potential clients and stuff like that. But when folks listen to you, they see you on social media, they see the private parties, the public parties, things like that. What's the biggest misconception? Do people ever look at you and call you just fake, phony? He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Dude, there's a bunch of misconceptions. So I'll give you about me doing this kind of change work, and I'll give you about hypnosis. First thing about hypnosis is it's fake. I'll get into that in a second. Second is, and usually what that means is, I believe it will work. I'm just scared. And I'll get into that a little bit in a moment. Oftentimes behind all the fakeness is they believe it will work and they're scared at what I will find out. Those are the big ones. The third big one about hypnosis in general is, are you going to humiliate me, make me look small, make me look shameful? And I'll talk about misconceptions about me in a minute. So whenever I do a show, I'm like, put your hands up if you believe in mind reading. Let's say 50% of the audience put their arms up. I'm like, put your hands up if you believe in deja vu. Put your hands up if you believe in deja vu. It gets a pop. Put your hands up if you believe in past lives. Hey, good to see you again. Gets a pop. Put your hands up if you believe hypnosis is fake. And I'll get, say, 25% of people. To which I say, I've been faking this shit for 25 years, but haven't been caught yet. I've called the elephant in the room, and I haven't run from it. I've called it. Not who believes in hypnosis, who believes it's fake. Yeah, I've been faking it. You say that. Does that hurt credit? No, it doesn't hurt, because everyone laughs. They're like, oh, he gets it. He gets it. Here's what I say about it, and I've said this all along in hypnosis. Hypnosis is bullshit. Counseling is bullshit. Psychotherapy is bullshit. But you know what else is bullshit? Your problem. Now, please don't think that I'm saying you're not feeling what you're feeling, because I know a lot of people are suffering, because I've seen about 10,000 people for every problem you can imagine and some shit you never want to imagine, right? I've seen it all from the A to the Z. I know people are suffering. I get that. But what I mean by bullshit is point to where anxiety is. I can point to my cell phone. I can point to my cup of lemon tea. Where's anxiety? Well, they can't point to it because it's a thing. Everyone has anxiety. Everyone is anxious some days, some moments. Everyone has moments of depression or sadness in their life. Everyone has moments of addiction in their life. I'm addicted to water. I'm addicted to sex. I'm addicted to crack cocaine, whatever it is. But your problem's bullshit, because there's a habitual loop or a program that you feel is uncontrollable in your head. Like, yeah, I feel it's uncontrollable. But I'm like, who's driving the bus? And they look like this. Oh, who's driving the bus? Am I driving the bus? Like, well, I guess I am. Yeah, you're the only one that's driving the bus, is you. And you're unconsciously, not deliberately, although some people do, are running bullshit programs inside your head, which are manifesting inside of your body through lesions, cancerous sometimes, through chronic pain, chronic pain is something that you've gone to your doctors about, you've had it for 3 months, and like, there's nothing we can do. Here's some more meds. So they're kind of living with it. They've got no other way. I'm like, so we're going to treat an illogical problem with an illogical solution. Yes, everything is bullshit. Everything is a work. We're working ourselves into a shoot most of the time. Everything.
And what he means by that, working himself, the audience, he's talking wrestling talk. You see what I'm saying? It's a work. So when you see something on TV that you're like, oh my God, this happened. Oh my goodness, Vince McMahon's limousine blew up on national TV. It was a work. They got me too when I was younger. I won't lie. I was like, did this really just happen? Like, it was crazy. You obviously remember that.
Of course, I watched it all. But here's the thing, right? Is we're working ourselves. We're working. Oh my God, what if that girl that I go up to and I ask her out on a date in a lovely, beautiful way with beautiful, and she just laughs in my face? What happens when I give the presentation at work if nobody listens to me and doesn't take me seriously? What happens as a 45-year-old man? I take MMA and I break my leg in the first week. Yardy, well, it's not happened. It could happen. It could equally not happen. But we're working ourselves, we're unconsciously telling ourselves a story that this reality that's making us scared is real. Like wrestling is real. Like, another thing, right? This works, it will come back. People love telling me as an adult man, oh, you like wrestling? You know it's fake, right? I'm like, do you like Marvel? Like, yeah. Do you like Game of Thrones? Yeah. You know it's fake, right? I would never dream of saying that to someone about the other forms of entertainment, which I enjoy also. But they feel like, oh, I've got to let him in on the news. He's 47. I've got to tell him wrestling's fake. I've been a fan for 37, 38 years. I found out in the first 3 months with Macho Man against Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 5. It was predetermined. It doesn't stop my passion for it. I know Robert Downey Jr. didn't really die at the end of Endgame. Didn't stop my enjoyment from it. Everything is a work. Everything is like the Matrix. None of it is real. It can feel real. It can seem real, and we can manifest the stuff that's going on. Oftentimes, Carl Jung, which was the co-creator of psychotherapy with Sigmund Freud, he said those things that we don't express unconsciously, we project consciously into the world. So if there's unresolved emotion, sadness, fear, guilt, shame in our body, if we don't become conscious of it and deal with it, we're going to project it and we're going to see it everywhere. And we're going to create the world. We're going to color the world in with that paintbrush. And we're not aware of it. It's stuff that's unresolved.
And the stuff that's happening in the world today that we're seeing, right?
Exactly.
It happened in whatever people's stance wants to be. We're not here to speak about that per se, but you look at the pandemic, then you look at everything that happened inside the pandemic, coming out the pandemic. At some point in time, a lot of folks are addressing the elephant in the room. It was an entire work. Now, understand what we're talking about right now, right? It's still a work that we're seeing right now. Everything now labeled in the world is called fear mongering. And it all depends on what you want to extrapolate in your brain and keep it there. Because there's some stuff that we can't get away from. There's the Israel-Palestine. You can't get away from that. But it's never spoken about. Why? Because we know what the bigger underlying issue is. You get what I mean? But when you have social media shutting down and doing all this, that's just to create mass hysteria to see is how many folks need the dopamine, the scrolling. Yeah, TikTok shut down for 48, 72 hours, right? Yeah. Shut down for, 48, 72 hours. The whole world went crazy. Instagram shuts down for 1 hour, everybody goes crazy. X, formerly known as Twitter, gets shut down, everybody goes crazy. Because we're so caught up with keeping up with the Joneses. You get what I mean?
It's mass hypnosis, but I call it shitnosis because it's disempowering and it's not something you're doing to yourself. It's something that's, to get all conspiracy with you, it's something that's going around universally to us. So to go back to one of your questions earlier about, people thinking hypnosis is fake. I'm like, do you have a cell phone? They're like, yeah. Like, do you get lost in social media or texting and you look at the time, an hour's gone by or two and you didn't realize, what happened to the last hour? They're like, yeah, that's hypnosis. Or time distortion, but it's being done to you on the phone. It's being done. You're being worked. You're being punked out like someone who went to the carnival 50, 60, 100 years ago and they put an X on the back of your t-shirt with chalk. So when you're walking around, the other carnies, the vendors at the carnival know this guy is a mark. We have marked him. We can take money from him. Throwing the ball at the coconut or throwing the dart at the dartboard or into the balloon. We're all being worked. What I'm doing is I'm taking a thing that naturally happens. You're being worked, and I'm allowing you to see through the illusion. Take the red pill, if you will. You can see it there. But in a different way, to see what the world really is, for you to get control. So something that's already happening, so you're already being hypnotized, but it's being done really great because you don't realize you're being worked. I'm going to let you know it's happening, but not just by talking at you, by giving you metaphors, by giving you stories. So you come to your own conclusion of, oh shit, this is real. I am being worked and I'm working myself. And rather than get defensive, no, I really do have pain. I really do have anxiety. Yeah, I get you experiencing suffering. I'm not saying that ain't real. I've been there as well. But none of this is real. And I've got like hundreds of ways of helping my clients come to that conclusion. They're like, eventually, like, and they get it. And I don't just mean they get it here, because a lot of smart people there, intellectual masturbation. I mean, they embody it. They get it here. And they get it. So when people are like, yeah, it's fake, I'm like, yeah, your problem's fake as well. There's illogical problems require illogical solutions. Your phone is hypnotizing you. Another misconception I'll get is me. You speak really fast and you speak slow with hypnosis. Oh, Luke, you've got all these tattoos. You've got a beard. You're really scary. I don't know, if I can work with you. And my girlfriend would always say this, Hypnopixie. People often think that about me. Then they spend 2 minutes talking with me. And oftentimes I get this from strangers. I thought, they don't say this, and not this brave. I thought you were going to be a major asshole. But I've just spoke to you for 2 minutes. And you're nothing like I thought you were going to be.
You know what, Luke? Now you're speaking my language, because how many times do we get that folks can just look at you based off of your presentation? Could be how you look, the tattoos, the color of your skin. I get it all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, he speaks so. They look at you. So here's what they do. They look at you. They see a guy that is sporty looking, right? Because that's me. I'm always stick sporty. That's just how I'm going to be. But when you start opening your mouth, they're like drawn in like this. Like you just drew them in. It's like when Scorpion says, "Get over here" in Mortal Kombat. But then it comes with a bunch of preconceived where it's like, "Oh, I thought you were this. I thought you were that. You're so..." No, but you guys gotta understand, we all come from somewhere.
Yeah.
Looks are deceiving, but you can never judge a book by its cover. And I think we're all conditioned like that, to have something where we're judging a book by its cover. But sometimes my folks always said this to me: never look at the person that's smaller than you and judge them, or bigger than you and judge them, because you're not finished living yet. You get what I mean? Because that person can overtake you at any given time. You can look at that person and say, "Oh, the story of the tortoise and the hare. What did the hare do? He underestimated the tortoise. He's like, fuck, I'm taking a break. He ain't catching up." And what did he do? Trot along. You fell asleep, and guess what? You saw who crossed the finish line. You acted surprised, like, oh my God. See, this is the thing about life and society. And I think, like, wherever we're at in our world, if you're doing the hypnosis thing, it's just having the right seasoning and the right ingredients, and really opening the lens, opening the radar of what life is giving us. You know what I mean? But I don't think a lot of people want to do that.
No, because they're fixed with their biases. Like sometimes it's scarier for people to let go of their pain, emotional, mental, physical, spiritual. It's more painful to let go of it than to hold on to it. I'll give you a quick example. Many, many years ago, probably 12, 15 years ago, when I was in Ottawa, there was a lady who came to see me, won't betray her name or anything, so no one will be able to find out who she is. But she had a back pain. Just look, I know I've had it for 30 years, chronic back pain. She came to me in her 50s or early 60s. She's like, "Look, don't need you to regress me or any of that nonsense. I know I've got back pain. 30 years ago, I was rear-ended by a car. I got whiplash, and I've had back pain ever since." And the doctor's like, "Not more we can do about it. Had the MRIs or whatever the equivalent was back then. Here's some medications." So she was stuck with it. So you're my last hope. So whenever I hear that, I'm like, oh shit. Because they think I'm going to fix them. I ain't fixing anyone. I'm giving you an opportunity to fix yourself inside a space that's therapeutic and healing. But I'm not like, that's another thing. They think I'm doing all the work. Like I'm the Messiah. And I know if I let my hair down, I could look a bit like Jesus. Jesus punk. Oh, look
This
at
guy,
That's
this
right.
guy, you would say that, eh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. That's the whole look. When I let the hair down, it's from the straight edge society. But I'm like, but I'm giving you an opportunity to heal themselves because people want to put all the responsibility on me to fix them, which sounds great for my ego. But then I found out rapidly that's great. So if everything works, it's because of me. If nothing works, it's because of me. How could it be because of me? I'm only with them an hour or two. They're inside their own head for what 168 hours a week. So I always empower my clients. Well, mate, like you can't blame your trainer for not getting you in shape if the other bunch of hours you ain't following nutrition or doing the cardio workouts on you. It's all you. But I'm going to give you some really powerful tools that if you use them in between sessions, they will help you. So a lot of people think I'm doing the work. No, I've got a lot of experience of dealing with a lot of stuff, but my clients are always doing the work. I had someone, the lady. I know I've got back pain. Don't need you to regress me. Did the first 3 sessions. Did the first session. I didn't feel anything shifted too much. But you never know, weird things happen. Comes in for the second session. Yeah, Luke, things are a little bit better. That pain that was an 8 out of 10 daily in my back, it's now a 7. But no big changes. All right. So second session, did a little bit more change work. She comes in for the third session. She's like, yeah, Luke, you know what, a little bit. It's a 6 out of 10 now. It's a little bit better. And I'm like, we've got 1 hour. So anyways, we get to a part in the hypnosis where I speak to her unconscious, her subconscious mind, the part that stores all the memories, the part that beats the heart, the part that thinks the thoughts, the part that breathes the lungs, the part that controls the endocrine system. And I said, do you know why? This is what not her name, but we'll say, Gladys, do you know why Gladys has this back pain? Oh yeah, her husband cheated on her and it turned out a month before the car accident. A month before, 30 years ago, and she developed the back pain as a way to get back at him so he wouldn't leave her with the other woman. Are you willing to forgive herself and forgive the part? Because she still was with her husband 30 some odd years later, and they had a confrontation about it. She knew, he knew that she knew, but she decided to stay with him. So I said, are you willing to forgive him? Not that it was right. And you never have to have a conversation with him out in the real world, but that part of him that you carry unconscious is like, no, I'm not willing to forgive that part of him that I carry, even though I'm going to be married another 30 plus years. I'm like, you do understand that if you don't forgive him, this pain will continue. Because you said it, not me. Oh, I understand that. So knowing that now, knowing that, if you don't forgive the part of him you carry, even though you're still with him every day and married, are you still not willing to heal? She's like, no. I'm thinking of many different ways to reframe it, and we're running out of time. We get to the end. I'm just put her out of trance. I'm like, do you remember what we were just talking about in hypnosis? She's like, yeah. She's like, I haven't actually thought about that, surprisingly, for like decades. But yeah, no, that did happen. And I had a chat with your unconscious, and it said it wasn't willing to forgive that part in order to heal you. She never had the back pain anymore. She's like, yeah, I know. So what do you think about that? She's like, yeah, I'm not willing to forgive him. You do understand that means you're going to continue to have back pain a little bit less? She's like, yeah, I get it, but I'm okay with it. And sometimes people, it's more comforting to keep the pain than let it go and have a space of potentially more beautiful, wonderful things happening, or in their brain, worse things happening.
You speak. This seems very similar to when it was in the pandemic. I got a lot into Mike Tyson's podcast,
Yeah.
and we know about Mike Tyson, the trials and tribulations. Some people will say the greatest boxer of all time. I have my reservations there. You know what I mean? Because to be great, you got to be able to defend your title, and do all that stuff. But it's neither here or there. But he spoke about getting into his trauma. And listening to Mike Tyson now at the age of in his 50s to where Mike Tyson, if he had this mindset when he was 18, 19 in his early 20s, it would have been very interesting to see how great he truly could have become. But this is where it comes back. We have to go through shit in life to then kind of bring it back full surface to who we are supposed to really be. And I think that what I want folks to hear from this conversation is, you spoke about taking your own life when you were younger. Twice you spoke about. But you had to go through everything here because that wasn't your calling. You were here placed on this earth to help inspire. You get what I mean? And I think what I want a lot of folks to realize, doesn't matter what's going on in your world. Always look at what your hidden talent is, because we all have it. If it's there to just inspire one person, that means you've done your job. Maybe it's two, maybe it's millions, maybe it's, whatever, billions. But just take the time, take the energy to really seek forward, because it's inside of all of us. It shouldn't have to be, this may sound a little contradicting, it shouldn't be that heartbreak, that relationship, or losing your job. It's something that we should always have, this flickering. But I think what happens, we got to hit rock bottom to really find our real self, if that makes sense.
Yeah, quick side story. Mike Tyson.
Talk about it.
His trainer, Customado, was a hypnotist, and he took Mike Tyson to a hypnotist every week. I think he had him from about the age of 13 to 14. So every week, Mike Tyson would be working with a hypnotist, and Customado, as Tyson went to sleep, would do auto suggestions as Mike Tyson was going to sleep, hypnosis. And the main suggestion was, you're going to be the youngest heavyweight champion of the world. Every single night, hypnosis. Mike Tyson talks about it. Hypnosis. He has a lot of problems growing up. But that time when he's with Customado's really honed him to be a great fighter, but also a father figure, and probably the most positive force that Tyson had up to that point, and maybe ever, like a really positive, wonderful force in his life. But yeah, absolutely trained him to be the greatest heavyweight, or the youngest heavyweight of all time. And he becomes the youngest heavyweight of all time. Customado dies. And then fame, women, drugs, one of the three most popular, famous mics in the world at the time. It all goes off the rail. But for that period that he was with Customado, and he was getting programmed nightly, irrespective of all the trauma he had before and all the stuff that would come later, that was probably when he was his most vicious, but athletically in his best. But he was getting all that beautiful positivity, and it came true. He became the youngest heavyweight champion of all time. So I think he talks about a little bit about on the podcast about hypnosis, but it's in his book there. It was the unspoken truth or something. But yeah,
for sure. One of the things I also noticed with yourself, and you can probably speak to this a little bit more, you do these events, you talk to these folks, it's like when I was in training, you bring a lot of people into your play settings, a lot of just souls and just energy frequencies. How do you balance between the both? Because I think that in training for me, there was some folks that got an attachment. Now I could speak to women, right? They can get an attachment because you're taking care of their bodies, this and that. But speak to from your professional expertise. How do you shut that off between those personal and professional relationships as well?
Yeah, well, I kind of live the gimmick, to be honest with you. But what I mean by this is my default is, and most people would never realize this from seeing my shows and talking, is I'm an introvert. I love my own time.
I couldn't tell.
I'm very happy to have most of my time by myself and with my cat Lexi here. If I go to a concert, if I go to a wrestling show, I start to get somewhat resentful unconsciously. I've unpacked it. You know why? Because I'm watching it and not doing it. Now, if you put me somewhere and I'm the show, people are paying to see me. I'm the most extroverted guy there because it's my fucking show. And that's my job. And it is very real for me. Very real for me. But when I'm walking around normally, I'm happy on my own. Me and the Hypnopixie and my cat Lexi. And I want most of the world to just leave me alone for the most part. But when I need to be on, I'm on. It's like the stories we hear of wrestlers like Eddie Guerrero. I'm not this, but he had all these painkillers, could barely move backstage. He couldn't even stand up. But as soon as that light went on, then he went out, stole the whole effing show.
JBL said the exact same thing. I saw a little soundbite about that where he's like, the spot that they had to recreate. And Eddie was like, nope, don't do it yet. Don't do it yet. Wait till they go kind of flat and then do it. And then it brought the whole entire match around and the crowd was on their feet and everything like that. And it's so crazy because I think wrestling has influenced all of our life. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's a question for you because I know that you are very, very toned in with, crop that out. You're very honed in with CM Punk. Speak to the influence about that. Where does CM Punk's influence comes into to Luke Michael Howard?
So, in my culture in London, England, everyone drank, everyone smoked. Some people did drugs. It was a way of how to fit in. In fact, my dad didn't do the drugs, but did the other two things. And I rebelled against it. I'm like, I saw my dad. It was not an alcoholic. Technically, he was. He wasn't abusive. He just drank too much. And he would smoke too much. And he had a heart attack and stroke when I was really, really young. And I made a decision. I didn't want to be like everyone else. I didn't want to be like my dad. And I didn't want to be like this lad culture where we're getting drunk and belligerent and being aggressive for no reason and fighting everyone. It repulsed me. But I was in the minority because everyone that I knew, young people and older people, were doing this. Lifetime wrestling fan from the age of 9 or 10. I'm watching, and I heard about this guy, CM Punk, on the Indies, on Ring of Honor, a smaller organization for people that don't follow wrestling. But I'd never seen a picture of him. Then he shows up in the WWE's ECW, which is they've got another organization and they bastardized it basically. But he came on TV and he had tattoos. It's not like now where everyone has that tattoos. Not everyone did back then. And he'd be talking about, I'm straight edge. I'm like, ooh, what's straight edge? I don't smoke. I don't drink. I keep my body as a temple. And he looked cool and he sounded cool. I'm like, I have been doing that my whole life, but it was never cool up until this moment. I'm like, but this guy is saying it's cool. So that part that I wasn't seeing and was against most of the things, great, don't drink, don't smoke, you can't be cool. It's like, no, you can totally be cool. And then, so it was a huge moment for me back in 2006, 20 years ago. And then he'd come out, and he wasn't the most athletic guy, isn't the most muscle chiseled guy, anything, but his ability to make everything count and to put words together and to polarize. You love him or you hate him, but you have a feeling about him, and he has that star appeal. I'm like, he's put all these bits together that I thought were not cool and not okay, and he's telling me it's okay to be like this. It's okay not to do drugs. It's okay to be different. It's okay to not give in to peer pressure, and you don't have to look this way. You can make it your own way. Like was it Frank Sinatra, My Way? So that was like a big moment. That's why I resonate with him.
No, I love that. Would that be someone that you would love to maybe do a sit down like conversation, 1 hour dinner, whatever, lunch?
It would be great, but they say never meet your heroes, right? And I did meet him actually in Chicago at a Comic-Con in 2019. I met Jim Cornette, most amazing wrestling personality I've ever met, and I've met most of them. And Punk, he wasn't with AEW yet. He'd been out of wrestling for a while. And he wasn't a booth. He was at the Pro Wrestling Tees table. So I had a moment, got a picture, got a little video. He was fine. But I didn't have a whole bunch of questions worked out for him. I was cognizant of the people in the line and move on. But he was very cool, very nice, very friendly. People with eyes a jerk. Punk, I feels a lot like me. If you come at me with the wrong energy, go fuck yourself. If you come at me at the right time, with respectful energy, I've got all the time in the world for you. I'll sit down, I'll talk with you. But if you're just going to be a dick or demanding or think I owe you something, so I get why he gets a bit of a bad rap. But I'm like, if I was in that same level and people felt they were entitled to something and were being really rude and touching me, I can get why he can come across as grumpy at times, because I do too.
You see it at these airports, you see it at the wrestling events. Like, people are lay waiting the wrestlers in the fucking airport, excuse my French.
Yeah.
With signature whatever they want and a pen and just stuffing it in their face. I'm sitting there and I'm like, if I ever met like my heroes, let's just be honest, Roman, I don't feel like we'll ever meet Roman in public. You know what I mean? But I was ever meet like Roman, Dwayne, Triple H. I think I told you the story about Randy Orton. I was at a show. Randy Orton comes out. I was like, Randy. So I'm on the other side of the fence. I was like, mind if I get an autograph? He's walking towards me and the phone rings. And he looks at the phone. He looks at me and he's still going to walk. And he's like, can't do it. And I was like, it's totally understandable. And he put his hand up with respect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That I can acknowledge. But there's some folks, some of these fans are just, here, you sign this now. It's like, wait, I'm not your lackey. What are we doing? You know?
Yeah. They say with wrestlers, right? Like, there's times to do it. You don't want to do it in an airport because they're stressed about the plane. Don't do it when they're with the family. Don't do it when they're in the middle of a meal. Also, now they say don't do it at a hotel. But if there's another moment outside of that and you come up, I developed this approach. This approach is, it's not in any of those environments. You see a wrestler, hey, love your work. And if at any time you want me to go away, just go like this. I'll totally get it. I won't be offended. It would mean the world to me to take a picture of you. Is that okay? You're giving them permission. I get it. You can go like that. I get it. I'm not going to take it personally. This is my one shot. Your family are not with you. There's not an aeroplane around. You know, it's timing and giving them an out. Like, it's all right if you say no, but I had to swing.
No, absolutely. Before we get out of here, you told me to bring a book here or something like that?
Yeah.
So what's up with that?
I asked Rory to bring a book. So let's make this clear. We're obviously not in the same building right now, right?
No, we're not.
And I don't think we're in the same city. I'm in Toronto. You're in...
I'm wherever right now.
All right, there you go. In the witness protection safe house somewhere.
I'm in a undisclosed location. I can't give out all my coordinates because folks are like, "Are you here? Do you live here? What are you doing here?"
You're in a dark room. It looks like parts unknown there.
Hey, listen.
Anyway,
we're in the laboratory, you know?
There we go. So I asked Rory just to bring any book from his collection, and you've chosen a book. What book did... I don't even know what the book is. What did you choose?
You want me to show you?
Yeah.
Gary Vanderchuck, right there. I'm going to show it in the camera.
Lovely. All right. Have you read that book?
That just came out. Okay. I've been actually audiobook, to be honest.
Okay, lovely.
But I always buy books that I like. I always get the audiobook because I'm more audio because I'm always on the go. This is just, it's just there. You know what I mean? I always make sure.
So what I'm going to get, there's no way I could have got you to think of that book, buy that book, or choose that book, right?
1,000%.
No way, because I just asked you yesterday, just bring any one of your book. So what I'm going to get you to do in a moment is actually open the book now and just scan through some of the pages in front of you. And now I want you to put the book in front of the camera so I can see the words on some of the pages.
Okay. See, now I'm telling y'all this ain't planned. Like, I was not prepared for this. So I got to like break open the book, show y'all what's going on.
Can you raise that book a little bit higher for me and bring it a bit closer? Because, yeah, can you bring it a little closer to the lens, a little bit closer? Lovely. So keep the book there. Rory, what I'm going to do is I'm going to call out some words I see on the page. At some point, I'll get you to turn pages as well. On one of the words that I see on the page, I want you to choose a word. One of the words I'm going to say, choose the word. Your only job is to remember the word you choose from what I read on the page. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
All right. So I'm seeing operate. Okay. Important. Speaking. Raise the book up a little bit, Corey. Distance. Flip the page for me, please. Any way you want.
Now Luke's put me to work. My arms are getting tired. So this ain't planned. I'm just letting y'all know.
Working the guns. All right. Pull it back. It's a bit white at the moment. Raise it up a little bit. Bring it a bit. Yeah. Okay, I see at the bottom. Respectively. Disprove. Respiration. Personality. Choose one of those words. Close the book. Have you got your word?
I do.
Of one of the ones that I read, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. No way. You chose a book from your collection. It could have been any book. You chose any page. You even turned the page. multiple words in that. That's all that's brought us to the dance right now. See your word. I know you hear, you're more auditory, you said. So I want you to hear your word in your head. Hear the word saying over and over again. Now see some of the letters in the word in any order. There's a P. There's a P in your word, yes? I thought so. There's an E in your word.
Mm-hmm.
There's a... This is difficult. It's, Rory. Oh, there's an R. There's an R in your word. Is that yes?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. That's why I was getting it confused earlier on. There's an S in your word.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not taking away from the show. This guy here, I told you, this is no script. This is we'll post the raw. Luke, keep going.
So there's an S. There's an S,
yes.
yeah?
Yes.
Oh, shield, circle. There's an O. There's an O in the word.
Yep.
There's a N. There's an N in the word.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm getting big, small. A. There's an A in the word.
Mm-hmm.
See, there's one more. There's one more thing that I'm seeing. I think I already know what it is. Luke, L. There's an L in the word.
Mm-hmm.
Scream the word in your head, not out loud until I announce it.
Mm-hmm.
Turn up the volume in your head.
Mm-hmm.
Personality.
This guy is great. I am telling you. How do you like? Can you tell? Yo, listen, I'm coming in the scam. I'm coming in the camera right now. Like, how does he do it?
Magic.
How does he do it? Luke, I got to give you your flowers. Not because of what you've done in studio, here virtually, but you, from the time just having the handful of conversations, we do the wrestling thing, we're doing this podcast now, you are just great. And just keep going. Like, whatever God, the universe has put in front of you, just keep blazing that fire. Because I want to come to one of your shows. Not for you to work on me, because you've already done way too much already. I'm not trying to do that. But I just want to be in the back, chilling, just to be like, this fucking guy. You're great, man. And I appreciate you. And it warms my heart that we have this camaraderie and we have this friendship. You know what I mean? Straight up.
You, man.
Keep up the
I
good
appreciate
health.
that.
Yeah.
I feel the same way too. And when I have a show, I would definitely invite you to a public show.
No, the puppet show. This guy says puppet show is crazy.
No, public show, not puppet. Public.
I thought you said puppet. I was like,
oh,
puppet
no,
show.
no. You're no puppet.
This guy's about to be the puppet master in this place.
I have a T-shirt with that on, and like the word.
If I ever see that on a video, I might have to quietly just be like, this guy must be the Oracle now.
I do a thing called Voodoo Doll, where I bring my Alexa Bliss little doll and I turn it into a voodoo doll on stage. And whatever the doll does, my participants on stage copy the doll.
Hell no. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, Luke, where can everyone check you out, my brother?
Easiest way is lukenosis.com. LUKENOSIS.com, lukenosis.com. And if you go on any form of social media, Lukenosis, or you could use my stage name, Hypnopunk, 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 or lukenosis.com. And I'm everywhere, every form of social media.
Yeah, you're going to be in your city soon. Trust me. You're going to be in the city soon. He's probably going to be worldwide. It's just a matter of time. It's a matter of time, my friend. But I do appreciate you.
Appreciate you, man. Always.